what is one thing that listeners who are listening right now could do today to start being a better bestie to themselves? I know you've already given some tips, but, like, if you could give, like let me just
Yeah.
give you one little nugget.
Um,
It's behavior, bitches.
Hey, guys, it's Liat. Welcome back to another episode of Behavior Bitches Podcast. I've been out of the studio for the last couple of weeks, traveling a lot, so hopefully I still remember what to do here, but our guest is a vibe today, so I think if I'm not able to lead the show, he can. Like, the energy, you can feel it here. So, let me tell you a little bit about our guest today. His name is Misha Brown. That brings me back to thinking about Misha Barton. How's she doing, by the way? Do you know? Do you know who she is?
the actress?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were actually just today on a list together of 52 interesting people, fascinating people on yahoo.com.
You were on the same list as her? That's amazing. She went through some mental breakdown. Great.
Yeah, I feel blessed.
Love it. Okay, so Misha Brown's an undeniable entertainment powerhouse who excels as an influencer, podcast host, and performer. With a knack for captivating audiences, he shot to notoriety on TikTok in 2021 with the viral lessons in not crossing a gay man series. That's what blew you up.
That's correct. Yeah, unfortunately.
Amassing over 6 million followers. That's a big deal. Named Motivational Creator of the Year and honored by the Webby Awards for social impact. He also earned a Best Comedy Podcast nomination from the Podcast Academy. Congrats. I don't know why
Mhm.
I didn't get that yet. Misha's work
Yeah.
Misha's work has been spotlighted by People, USA Today, and Good Morning America. My mom probably would know that. She watches every single Good Morning America.
Hi,
Cementing his
Mom.
status as one of the most compelling voices online. You could find his Instagram handle, which will also be in the show notes, obviously, at your bestie Misha. Misha,
Yes.
welcome to the show.
Thanks, Leah. It's nice to be here.
I'm stoked for you to be here. And I know that you just recently wrote a new book that came out.
Be your own bestie, a no-nonsense guide to changing the way you treat yourself. Hello?
Hello, I love it. So being your own bestie is such an my algorithm always knows what I'm going through.
Mhm.
It's obviously that's like the point of an algorithm. I like love all my devices listening to me everywhere to know exactly what I need. And
They are watching.
for a while, this really was the theme of this like self-kindness to yourself and different things like that. And so we're
Mhm.
obviously gonna get into all these different parts about your work and what you do. But before that, I'd like to what we call in behavior pair a little bit, aka
Okay.
like connect you and I. So I have some very important questions to get to know you.
Can't wait.
I had multiple questions I wanted to ask, but I'm gonna try choose my favorite on the list. Let's see. What's a food you could happily eat every day and never get tired of?
Oh, that's so easy. French fries. French fries, hands down, easy. I don't know. They're like my kryptonite. I feel like they're at most of my meals. I like all different kinds, curly fries, regular fries, unseasoned fries. Like it doesn't really
Are you
matter.
into the condiment game too?
I am a sauce queen for sure. Yeah.
So, like, where are you getting fries? This is funny you said you live in Austin. I,
Mhm.
like, have so many memories of being at Whataburger, like, all the
Yeah.
time. Do you think their fries do you approve of their fries?
No, they're not my favorite to be honest, but worse than that is P. Terry's. I can't go there simply because of their fries.
Ew, I know, and people are obsessed with it. I don't know if it's, like, a drunk thing,
Obsessed.
though.
Maybe. No, for me, what I really like is like the beer battered double fried.
Oh, like,
They're
crispy.
crispy on the outside, soft on the inside. I'm in heaven.
I love fries, and I love different condiments, like,
Mhm.
makes me so happy. Actually, for one of my birthdays, my ex-husband, bless him, this is gonna make him sound so perfect, so everyone don't gag. He, like, made me, like, a french fry, like, charcuterie, like, entire, like, table board with, like, all the different condiments.
Wow. I I'm a little turned on.
I'm single.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
I'm
you might have
not,
to
it's
deal with the
okay.
rest of it, but you'll get fries,
Yeah,
you know?
okay. Fair
Okay,
trade,
so
I think.
that's good. If you wanna know my happily eat food every day since you didn't ask back, but I'm sure you wanna know.
Please. I do. I really do.
It's Gushers. I love Gushers, like, so much, and they've really, like, taken, like, a comeback, and they come in, like, bags that are so much bigger now. Have you seen this?
That's so crazy. That's such a unique answer. I don't think I that you're the only person who's ever said Gushers to that
I
question.
fucking love Gushers, like, I am so happy. I don't think I've ever eaten, like, a single bag at a time.
Fair. I can't tell you the last time I had a Gusher.
Well, maybe it's time.
I'm right after this episode, I'm gonna go to the store.
Actually, GoPuff is big, the app in Austin, I remember, and
Oh,
that's where
yeah.
I started getting back into them because they sell, like, these bags that are, like, this big. So
Oh,
yeah, it's like a
thank you. The
soda
more you
stream.
know.
Yep, now you know. Okay, next. Are you a planner or a more "we'll figure it out" kinda person?
I am a totally type A, personality. I plan everything. If there's an Excel sheet, that's my dream. If I can, like, make a list and a check mark and tasks, and I can, like, mark them off, like, that's what I would like to do. That's how I work. Yeah, what about you? You
Not
feel
at
like a
all,
I know,
and anyone who says that, I'm, like, so turned on. I'm like, literally, I will hire anyone who, like, is, like even says, like, the word organized in an interview. Like, I am just
Oh,
seeking it so much in my life that, like and there's just, like I don't work like that, and I am, like, envious of people who do. Like, I couldn't tell you where
yeah.
one thing on my Google Drive was.
That's why we have people, yeah.
I know, yeah, but it's a lot. It's okay, yeah, what's your Starbucks order, and do you change it based on your mood?
No, sorry, this one's so boring. I am a black coffee person. Maybe I'll, like, go crazy and be like, "Can I get a splash of almond milk or oat milk?" But it's just regular coffee, hot,
Like, do
not
you like
iced.
Starbucks, though, or not even?
Mm, I'm not like one of those people that's just like, "I hate Starbucks," just to hate Starbucks, but it's not like my preferred go-to coffee. I really just, like, make coffee at home.
Okay.
It's so boring.
No, I mean, I realize, like, I'm actually, like, not a coffee, like, person, but I use it as,
Right?
like, a distractor to go to work later or something. Like, I'm like, "Oh, this is fun. This
That's
sounds
fair.
fun." Do you guys have La La Land in Austin?
We just got one. It was so crazy because Austin is, like, full of little influencer girls, like, the hundreds and thousands of them, and so
Mhm.
La La Land came, and you weren't able to get in, because the line was all the way down South Congress, like, all the way into the
Oh,
city.
of course, they put it
Um
on South Congress, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I ended up going to one in LA a few weeks ago because people in LA don't care about it anymore as much. Yeah, I was like, let me get a special coffee since I'm here, and I didn't drink it. It was way too sweet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it wouldn't be exciting to you. To me, it's fun.
Yeah, I got that banana one, the banana cloud, I think it
Wait,
was
I
called.
did too. Did you get the did you get it with, like, coffee or with, matcha?
Coffee.
Oh, I did
I didn't
matcha.
even know you could do it with matcha.
I did it with matcha, which I've never done in my life, but I enjoyed it.
Oh, you did? I was okay.
I had a good time. What's in your notes app right now that would confuse someone else? Feel free to open
Uh, yeah, what is in my notes app?
feel free to
I
screen
don't
share. I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not.
Feel free to okay. Oh, okay, I just have a list that says puzzles, lotion, chapstick.
Is this for a date?
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the ID channel soon. No, I I was making gift bags that I, gifted to a nursing home, and so I was like, and like I said, I make lists, and so I had a checklist of things I wanted to put in the gift bags that the people in the nursing home could use.
Oh, well, now I just feel like an ass pervert, assuming what you're doing with that.
It's
Asshole
okay,
pervert.
I'm not precious, that's funny.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, now, what's your current hyperfixation?
My current hyperfixation, I think, is this is weird. Saving money. I'm me and my husband. I'm We got married a year ago, my husband and I, and
Mazel
we're
tov.
saving up. Thank you. We're saving to buy our first house, and so we got our very first like joint savings account. And so right now, I love like just putting little bits of money in all the time and watching it grow so we can buy a house.
Good luck in Austin. You're gonna be need to the market there is insane.
Absolutely. But
It's
I have a
crazy.
girl. She's so sweet. She's like she swears a lot. She's rude, but in a fun way. And so I trust her. She'll find me a house.
No, I mean, you'll find something, but I'm just saying the market is crazy what it's turned into.
Oh, yeah, it's actually everything. I was in New York and LA for work the past couple of months, and everything is cheaper in New York and LA than it is in Austin. Like,
Really?
especially like going out to eat here, like I don't know who people think they are because everything is that influencer culture here. So it's about aesthetics and for the gram, you know?
Wow.
Do
Well,
you have a hyperfixation?
do I, Martha? I literally asked Martha next to me.
You're like, I don't know.
She thinks I'm hyper fixated on sour candy, which also, can you pass me some more of those real quick? Um, I'm hyper fixated. No, actually, okay, so I've kind of like been in like the miles points game, like
Uh-huh.
credit cards. Oh, just take the whole jar. That's helpful. Thanks.
That is a big jar of candy.
Yeah, they're crybabies. You ever had them?
Yes,
They're
love
very
that.
sour. I'm very into like like following all these different like influencers on like how to get the most of your points. Like I really want to be able to do like a really like first class trip with like the lie down bed,
Uh-huh.
and like they do it for like barely any miles. I'm like, how are they doing this? So I
I
like
literally just saw a video about that.
yeah, like it's kind of like
Someone
my
asked me the
algo
same
now.
question. Ah, are we on the same algo? We're already paired.
We're paired. We're paired and ready to go, baby.
It's behavior, bitches.
Hey, behavior bitches, besties. First of all, thank you so much for taking the time and stopping and watching all of our content on YouTube. We put a lot of effort into putting these podcasts into YouTube. That means I have to get dressed for the day, do my makeup, and actually show up when I used to come in looking completely homeless to record because no one could see my face. This being said, for us to keep doing this, we live for your subscription. So please do not forget to subscribe to our channel and like and leave us comments and love. Live for the love and keep tuning in, and you'll always know when our new episode drops. Love you, mean it. Can you tell us a little bit about your story? I know it's a broad question.
Mhm.
Like, who are you? How'd you become this viral content person? Tell me.
Sure. Yeah, honestly, it was a fluke. It was a mistake. I just kind of fell into it. And it's all thanks to the pandemic, really. So I was a professional theater performer my whole life, lived in New York City, was just twirling on stage for shekels, watching old people sleep in the front row. And
I love
then
the
the
shekel
pandemic happened.
reference. I've been in Israel a lot lately.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I worked on cruise ships too. I went to Israel a bunch.
Mm.
But yeah, then the pandemic happened and everything the only way I knew how to make money, the only thing I ever did with my life, was shut down. So I went back to my home city, just to hang out, and I got on TikTok like the rest of the millennials that didn't know what to do with their time, and I just randomly got a viral story. So, that happened, and then I told another one and another one, and it just kept growing. I went back and did a cruise ship, but at that point, I was too far gone. I had hundreds of thousands of followers, and so I spent my time, working on, I guess, my point of view, and then, yeah, after that one cruise ship back, decided to give it all up and become an influencer, which worked out in the long run. And then since then, it's really been about diversifying my platforms. I was just on TikTok for a while, but I now have 8 million across my channels.
That's
And
hot.
then yeah, and then Atwell Media and Wondery reached out and offered me a podcast. And so the goal has really been to like build something that's not necessarily like that's not attached to the real like the rented real estate of social media algorithms. Something that I can build and control and own outside of that.
That's incredible. And what were you doing on cruise ships? I also have like a fascination in like prisons and cruise ships, like how cruise ships run. Like I'm fascinated. I
Ye-
watch so many YouTubes. I'm like the food, like what were you doing there?
I was singing. I was singing on them, but it's funny because I have often like referred to them as luxury prisons because that you go on them for 6 months at a time. So I would go to England for 6 weeks to 2 months to rehearse, then be like on this ship and I was on a very small luxury brand. The cast only had 6 people in it, and you're just, like, stuck there in this tiny little cabin,
You
with
go
lots
for
of
6
rules.
months at a time?
Yeah, yeah, really long time. So it really puts your like, if you have any other goals in your life, like finding a partner or having children or, being on Broadway like I did, you put that on hold for almost an entire year. But the money is good. Plus, like I went to all 7 continents, over 100 countries in the years that I did it. So like the benefits are really shiny, and so it sucks you in. You just keep doing it, and then before you know it, you're like, "Fuck, it's been 10 years."
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So just because a lot of people listening to this are in the field of behavior, what I'm hearing what you did say about, how you got into the TikTok thing by accident. You posted something, you got the reinforcement, everyone was following it, then you did more of it. That's what reinforcement is, right?
Mhm.
When we do something again as a result of, coming into contact with that reinforcement. And it seems like you've had that I mean, all of us, when something works for us, we do it more and more. So you did it with the cruises, now you're doing it here and, like, leaning in and diversifying
Yeah.
some. So very cool. So you did a series called which you said is the one that, like, you blew up with, Lessons in
Mhm.
Not Crossing a Gay Man, that blew up online. What inspired that?
Again, that was another fluke. I was using social media at the time just to kill time. I had no plans. Social media to me was letting my mom know I was still alive when I was in Barbados.
Mm,
Everyone who followed me was somebody that I knew in my real life, maybe someone who saw me performing. So I was really just using it as a form of entertainment for myself. But I made a video. A family member of mine, I caught her. She posted a video of my Louis Vuitton wallet that had been missing for the past year and a half on the table in a photo. So she's stolen my wallet and then, acted very entitled and like I was crazy for wanting it back. And so I told this, and I just randomly said in it, lessons in not crossing a gay man in his designer bag. And it went viral. I think people connected to it because, you know, family drama, people know about that. Sense of justice and standing up for yourself, people liked that. Plus, people love messy TikTok. So it went viral. Honestly, like I didn't just lean into that person online. I fell into the like, oh well, I have 12,000 followers now. I'm gonna, be an influencer. And I was jumping on trends and doing all these things that weren't necessarily me. And then it just so happened to, a couple months later, another story popped up, where I stood up for myself that people liked. And then I stood up for myself with a business that was, uh, walking all over me. And so then I was just like, oh, wow. Well, I think people connected to that first story and this one. I'm seeing the through line, I'm seeing similarities. And so then, yeah, Lessons in Not Crossing a Gay Man was born out of just a random thing that flew out of my face one day.
wow. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know the things that are gonna fly out of my face either. It's that's such a good way to put it.
It's a blessing and a curse. Yeah.
Like, yeah, sometimes people, like, will be like, "Ugh, Leah, remember when we first met, you said" I'm like, "I did?"
I did.
Okay,
What's the craziest thing you've ever said that you can think of to a new person?
I can't think of it, but I promise you actually, it's such a good exercise. I'm gonna take this clip when we make it, I'm gonna post it on Behavior Bitch at the time and see what people write. People, like, will, like, I know it's like, I'm just imagining someone be like, you definitely told me that, like, you breastfed your 8-year-old kid," and, like, things like or, like, that I breastfed till whatever age. Like, there's definitely, like, something weird that, like oh, maybe, like, one time, the one teacher that I work with, we teach classes to behavior analysts, and
Mhm.
I had said that I couldn't be there the one night or something, and she was like, "Oh, why?" Like, "You had surgery," and I had surgery, and she's like, "What'd you do?" I was like, "Oh, I had a labiaplasty." She's like, "What?" And I was like, "I'm just, like, so sick of, like, my labia getting stuck in my jeans when I zip them." I made up this whole thing, and, like, I totally forgot and this is I, like, totally forgot to say I was ever kidding. Like, it was just, like, a funny, like, thing I thought of in my head. So then I start, like, Googling, like, labiaplasty surgery, sending her pictures, like, this is me recovering, and it's like, I talk such bullshit sometimes that I forget to say I'm kidding. Like, that's just one that, like The only reason I remember it is because it came up on my Time Hop. Like, I use the Time Hop app, and there was, like, a screenshot of
Uh-huh.
that text recently. But I'm sure there's, like, much more, like, weird things that have come out that I don't really remember.
Okay, well, you're weird and I really like it.
Yeah, like, these things I think of these funny things in my head, and then I say them out loud, and then I forgot to say I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So, you said a lot of people you think, like this, like, idea of, like, you, like, standing up for yourself or, like, feeling
Mm.
like, resonating with that. Were you someone who you were always like that? Someone standing up for yourself, or you actually, like, kinda took a different position typically?
No, I've done a lot of work on myself in the past few years. That's not something I really had trouble with. I think I've finessed it over time, but no, I was always kind of the person that stood up and spoke up, especially if it were for other people. I had no problem being a martyr in professional settings. Theater, especially, is very it's almost like a military hierarchy. Like, these are the roles and you do not question them because you're working for $300 a week, bitch, and we will fire you and you will be on your ass. So there's like, but I was the person that I would say something if I thought somebody was crossing boundaries, and I would do that for myself as well. So, but I think now that I never use social media. I never had a platform like that where I was able to reach a lot of people. And I think, but I do imagine that that's probably the thing that they connected with was, yeah, I've been in similar situations and I have been nice and polite because that's what we're told. I let it roll off my back. But really, that was just to the detriment of me and how I feel about myself, is kind of what I've been learning a lot of people deal with.
Right. So, when I saw the title of your book, I was obsessed with it. I love the title, "Be Your Own Bestie."
Hmm.
Very, on brand to the different businesses I have in general, so I loved it. Can you tell us where you came up with that title and what it means to be your own bestie?
Yeah, so this is one of those moments where you might get a little turned on because this was like literally all planned.
How did you know I'm into gay guys?
So, like I said, I love to sit down, I love to organize, I love to plan, and my journey in, like, loving myself was no different, and my sobriety. So, I was on tour with Cirque du Soleil as a singer. It is not as cool as it sounds, but it was a holiday show, and I was in a hotel room all by myself, surrounded by empty beer cans and, an ashtray that I made out of a coffee cup, and I just felt sick. I was in a relationship that was really toxic and harmful. And I was so sad. I nowhere in my career that I had aspired to be. And I felt very alone because I was performing all the time. Like, I was wearing a costume that everything was great and I was happy. And I didn't let anybody in my life know like how I was really feeling. So I'm in this hotel room on Christmas Eve by myself. And
You had issues with drinking? Was that your
yeah, yeah,
drug of choice?
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
I was an alcoholic. So I had just gotten off the phone with one of my best friends. Her mom was sick, and she was going through things. And I got off the phone with her, being her Gaby, hyping her up and telling her she can get through this and she's strong and she can do anything she wants. And then I got off the phone, looked at like the situation that I was in, and I went into the bathroom and I looked in the mirror. My face is all puffy. I feel sick, and I w- will never forget looking at myself and just saying, "Be your own friend." Because I was so good at like telling her how great she was. And I knew that, but I couldn't apply that to my own life. And then when I had this crazy idea to write a book all these years later, so the next day, Christmas Day, that's the day I was my first day of being sober. And I'm now over 7 years sober.
That's
I broke
huge.
up.
Congrats.
Thank you. I broke up with my boyfriend at the time on that day, and I promised to like just be by myself for the next year to work on it. And I sat down and I mapped out how I wanted to heal myself, which is how I came up with like my little SAS method, which was only ever meant to be for me and never shared in a book or with anybody. But when I had this idea 2 years ago to write the book, I sat down with my team and we were talking about it. My manager at the time goes, "Do you know that Be Your Own Bestie is also the acronym BYOB?" And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, I didn't even
You
that's
know?
Amazing.
Yeah, BYOB, and, like, the first chapter, starts where, like, the story that I was just telling you, it starts in that hotel room, me deciding that I needed to take control of my life, and get sober, and yeah, so that's how it came to be.
Just out of interest, getting sober, did you join any groups or anything? Or you were like,
I did join one group called, oh my gosh, I cannot remember the I'll have to think of it. I have to think of it, but it was a Facebook group. It wasn't like AA or like some like national, accredited thing. It was just this Facebook group where you got to like hang out and write on message boards with other people. And some people were doing like a 2 week challenge or 3 week or 6 month or whatever. And then other people that you saw were like, oh, I'm celebrating, 4 years. And I think being a part of a group was really great. And then they reached out to me and asked if I would like to share my story and, that they would post. And I saw the outpouring of just like love and, people being like, thank you for talking about your story because I'm also a performer and it's so easy to get sucked up into, we're only with each other for a finite amount of time. So make the most of it, live life to the fullest. And before you know it, you're 38 and have nothing to show except for a failed liver. So I think that was a big, a big reason why I was successful in the early days.
wow, very impressive. I think anyone beating addiction is it's not an easy thing. So, and I actually have heard a lot about it in like the theater and performing world, and I mean
Yeah.
that, you know. So wow.
It's behavior, bitches.
Are you a BCBA now and you are sad because you hate your job? Are you thinking, I worked so effing hard and here I am dreading Monday? Well, you're not the only one. We get that message all the time and we decided to do something about it. Welcome our newest baby, Pair ABA by Study Notes ABA. What is this? Well, we pair you with jobs that you actually don't hate. Imagine that. Imagine going to work on Monday and being excited about it. Imagine working somewhere where you're appreciated, you're paid well, they're doing ethical practice, and you love what you do. Well, that's not impossible because we have formed Pair ABA where we talk to clinics that we would actually want to work at. We're not going to send you anywhere. We are assessing these clinics to see, are they doing the good work? Are they not telling you one thing and then having you do another thing once you sign on? If you're concerned that you're not happy or you're feeling unsettled where you are, don't settle. Don't settle in relationships. Don't settle in work. Realize your value. Let us help you find a job where you are happy. All you need to do is head on over to pairaba.com. The response effort is low. Fill out the form so we could help you find job options near you. If you're a clinic and you think you're good enough for us to place at, also head over to pairaba.com. And we will see, are you good enough for our badass BCBAs who we protect? Go check it out, pairaba.com. Love you, mean it. In your book, it's like, it's funny, but you still keep it very real.
hmm
You share a lot of stories about like your friendships, relationships. Was there any chapter in there that you felt especially vulnerable sharing or putting out to the world?
Yeah, I think there were a few. I have one chapter I talk about my friend Billy, and he passed away, and so I was feeling very vulnerable writing it and being like making sure that I was memorializing him in the right way. But I think more to like your point, your question. There's a chapter called Queens Support Queens, which is the idea of like you finding people that like hype you up and support you just as much as you do for them. And in that chapter, I tell a story about my friend Jen, and I think it's vulnerable because I'm not a hero in a lot of that story. I was a really bad influence on her. Her freshman year of college, she was literally like a living Disney princess, and I was someone who partied a lot and did, like and drank and did drugs and skipped classes, and I like pulled her in with me, and then she ended up having, her own issues in her adult life. And so for a long time, I carried a lot of guilt because I was her entryway into the same lifestyle that I had. And, I ended up having to come to terms with that, and I did, with my own addiction and my own, alcoholism, and I did before her. She's also now, over 5 years sober herself, so it all worked out, but writing that chapter and having to own up to the fact that, I haven't always been the person on social media that people look up to for guidance and,
Right.
advice. I've also, stumbled along the way.
I love that. Queens support queens.
Yes.
Actually, one of the things at our company that we run is like we shine each other's crowns, meaning like if there's two of us like and they're like essentially performing, like our classes are not just regular like teaching classes. I'm literally doing like a comedy show for the time being, but like sometimes we'd notice that someone would be like, "That is not right. You're like you're explaining that so wrong," and it's like, okay, but like we're like literally presenting this to a group of people. Like, how can we shine each other's crowns? But so like
Mhm.
that's like actually one of like the tenets we stand on at our company. But also, like as I've gotten older, like you start realizing like certain people that you're friends with, you're like, this person doesn't want the best for me. Like,
Mhm.
like, and I'm actually someone I think who's like very naive to this, and like I've worked with people or like thought people, and it's like I actually think they fucking hate me. But, like, it's in this, like, passive like, I just, like, I'm just so not like that that I don't assume people think like that. But, like, it's really important to, like, take inventory and be like, "Is this person adding to my life in some way, or is it
Absolutely.
completely draining me?"
Yeah. I think, I've really learned that lesson over and over and over again. The more people follow me, the more, outward success that people can see that I've achieved. I've really noticed people like pleasant surprises, people that I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know that we connected in that way, that you connected to me in that way. I've always liked you, but, I used to be super insecure and just assumed that everybody didn't really care about me." And so to see you just like showering me with, support has been really nice, and same sis. But then on the other side, there's been plenty of people you see, like you're hate watching. You're hate watching me, and you're definitely not supporting me, and so those people can kick rocks with open-toed shoes, in my opinion.
And stand on Legos without shoes
Yeah,
on.
there we go. Ouch.
No, like, I have to tell you, it's, like, fascinating. It could even be people, like, I've worked with, and, like, you could look at someone as, like, a potential best friend or whatever it is, and then, like, you realize, like, "Oh, like, I'm going through a divorce now or something," and you're like, "Wait, are you actually taking joy in this?" Like,
Mhm.
it's that fucked up, but, like, taking inventory on these kind of people, and that's not the kind of besties you need.
No, not at all. No,
Mm.
I've always said I've always looked at relationships, not always, but a lot of time, like recently I've been looking at relationships like a bank account and just being like, okay, I'm the owner of the bank here, and is like with your account, how much money do you have in that account? Are we getting close to overdrafting? Because if you overdraft once, I'll send you a notice. But if you do it again, we're going to close your account. And, I remember one person was just like, well, that feels like a transactional relationship. And, you're keeping tabs on me. And it's like, well, we don't have to have the same amount of money in our accounts, but you definitely have to be, depositing as much as you're withdrawing, like there has to be this level of you reciprocating love and care and kindness and support, because I just who I am, I'm going to offer that to you if you're in my world and if I care for you. So like that's the bare minimum that I'm going to need for you to give back.
Everything you're saying is so accurate. Like, over the past couple of years, I've been like, is this friendship like, like certain things? Because I also am like, I love hard. And like when I'm a friend, I'm loyal as fuck. Like, I will kill
Yes.
someone for you. Shall I need to? I will, like whatever it is, like I am a ride or die. But there's some friendships you could be like, wait, is this like just relying on me just giving all the time? And like I'm
Mhm.
exhausted actually,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, they're
know?
like dementors in Harry Potter. They suck all the
Right.
energy out of the room and out of you.
So you talk about in your book, like, just one of the basic parts which I liked, the acronym also made sense for you, the SAS method. That was a
Mhm.
method that was meant to be just for you, right?
Yeah.
And you talk about this idea of, like, if you're a great friend, you know how to be that, but, like, why aren't you that to yourself? And I think I fall into that category as well. Like I said, like, I know I'm a great friend, but sometimes, like, I don't give myself the same like kindness or like just chill for the day. Like you deserve it, like things like
Yeah.
that. So I know the framework, the SAS method. Can you, and I also just love what each one stands for. Can you talk about this?
Yeah. So SAS stands for self reflection is a bitch. Affirm the shit out of yourself, stand your ground, and sculpt the life you want. And I literally was like, okay, I'm going to take 1/4 of the next year and focus on this. um, but the idea that it's a lot easier to give love to the people around you than it is to love on yourself. It's like when we go to the doctor's office. When we make the appointment for the doctors, we know exactly what they're going to say. They're not going to pull out some ancient scroll and part wisdom on you that has never been heard from, by man before. It's going to be don't drink, don't smoke, drink more water, eat your vegetables, move your body 10,000 steps a day, right? And we all leave that appointment. We're like, yes, absolutely. And then we immediately go through a drive through and sit on our butt for 8 hours
And
straight
get fries.
and get fries, 2 orders. So, like, the issue isn't knowledge, right? Because we know how to love. We know how to be soft with other people. And part of that, I think, is because that makes us feel good. It makes us feel loved and needed and important, virtuous. But if we act that way and treat ourselves that way, it starts to feel suspicious. And I think, especially if you don't treat yourself that way normally, because shame is a really good motivator. And if we let that go, I think our nervous system starts to spiral and be like, oh my gosh, but now I'm not going to be motivated. I'm going to turn into a couch pillow or something. So I don't think that the issue is knowing what to do. It's giving yourself permission to be soft with yourself the same way that you are with other people, and that's not going to hold you back or change the trajectory of, the life that you want.
Right. I think, I mean, I'm someone who's so, like, when I look at myself in a reflective way, like, and I mean, I think a lot of us are. So, like, not just me. Uh, no, I'm kidding. But, like, obsessed with being productive. And, like, if I'm not
Mhm.
productive, I feel completely useless. I feel down. Like, as someone who has, like, a chronic illness, like, I have lupus, and, like, anytime that, like, I literally can't physically work, I immediately go into, like, a dark place of being like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm back here again. This is my new normal. Like, okay, this is how my lupus has affected me now. Now I'm not gonna be able to do this." Like, and it's like people look at me as, like, a very positive person, and I'd say, like, I am very glass half full typically, like,
Yeah.
you know? But, like, to be able to give myself any sort of kindness on those days, like, "Dude, you're sick." Like, you'd say to a friend, right? Like,
Absolutely.
"Chill out. Go watch a TV show." Like, and instead, what I do is, like, I'm, like, trying to work, but getting nothing done, and I feel even shittier, right? And
Mhm.
it's like it's it sounds like so, like, pragmatic to be like, just do the same thing you tell a friend, but, like, for some reason, there's, like, this barrier, you
I
know?
think, well, and I have a chapter about a friend of mine, and she really struggled being a mom. She had postpartum, and she carried a lot of guilt with that. But after that, she was just like seeing all of the Instagram moms, mommy bloggers, and trying to uphold that level of perfectionism. And so she let a lot of her own things go. She let her whole identity go. And she reached out to me. She was a follower of mine, saw I was moving to Austin, and was like, "Hey, I can give you restaurant recommendations." And I was like, "Okay, that is the way to my heart. My is through my stomach." And I ended up meeting her for coffee. We had a good time. And she has like a unicorn of a husband who's so helpful and so loving, very equal partner. And he was the one that reached out to me and was like, "I will pay for it. Can you please take her to like on a spa day? Like she just needs to remember that like she is not just a mom." And it
I'm
was
in
such
love
a
with him.
I know, me too. And it was such a like an eye-opening experience because I honestly didn't realize that she was struggling because how normal is it for people to be like, "Oh, well, I'm a parent. I'm not going to have a life in, for the next 18 years," or like those kinds of jokes when really there is something, of
They're like,
substance
"I'm a
behind
parent. I'm
that.
not gonna have a life for the next 18 years."
Yeah, and there is some substance behind that, and so it was like a lesson of like, we have to remind ourselves that taking care of us and spending some quality time with literally the only person who's with us 24/7 is still productive. We're not being unproductive by just like taking a moment, taking a breath, and taking some time for ourselves.
I wanna go on a spa day with you.
I love a good pamper day.
We're
Come
not
on.
far.
We're not far.
I could come to Austin, you come to Dallas, but I feel like are you, like, at bestie capacity?
No, no, I, like, very much, keep my circles smaller,
No, I'm, like, a
as
fucking great friend. I'm not annoying, if we don't talk all the time, I don't give a shit, it's totally fine. Like,
mhm,
not, like, mad at you, like
yeah. For me, like, my friends and I, like, we talk about it all the time that we get together and it's not for an Instagram photo, it's just to, like, sit down and, like, chat or go to the spa or go do something with each other because we enjoy each other's company. I know it's a strange notion in these days, but
no, I love that. I
yeah,
I love it. Okay, so affirming the shit out of yourself.
mhm, my
This
favorite part.
this is huge. Can
You've
we
torn
talk
yourself
more?
to you've torn yourself down by reflecting, right? Reflecting is hard. That's why I said reflection is a bitch. Self-reflection is a bitch because that's you having to be like, "Oh, I have to take accountability and realize this is all my fault." And what I mean by that is like we can acknowledge that the world is some of the problem, that people suck, that responsibilities, weigh us down. But how do we allow those things to affect us? Is it making us change how we feel about ourselves, how we define ourselves, how we walk and carry ourselves in the world? So that was what I struggled with. So that was self-reflection. And once I like broke all that down and realized like of all the blame that I was casting out, and now I've identified and defined where I could be better in those situations. Now it's time to build myself back up. And so affirm the shit out of yourself was a really fun 3 months that first year. And date yourself, make it weird, a chapter in my book. That's something that I have taken and I've done every single day for the past 7 plus years.
Can you tell me what that means a little? Define that?
Yeah. So that is taking a piece of time every single day that is just for you, that has no relation to other people, work, expectations and responsibilities, just something that like you want, that you want to do, that you want to consume. Um, and so that examples, they can be super, super small, right? Like you go to work all day, you have to come home and cook and clean. Two different worlds of expectations and responsibility. But when you get home in the driveway, you can spend 5 minutes by yourself in your car eating a Twix, and you deserve that break. You deserve that breath, that little moment to decompress before you have to go and face the next few things that you have to do before you get to go to bed. It can be huge things like going to therapy or, dressing up and taking yourself out to dinner or booking that vacation that's been on your mind for the last 2 years, and everything in between. But it's training yourself and reminding, like absorbing into the DNA of who you are, that you deserve to feel good. You deserve to feel taken care of. And we can't always expect everybody else around us to offer us that. So it's really important that we give that to ourselves so that we know it's coming from somewhere every single day.
I love that. Like, my date with myself that I could think of is, like, the one thing I'll do. I love getting massages. That is, like,
Ugh,
anyone like, I don't care how dirty the salon is, anyone who's willing to, like, touch my back
touch my body.
touch my back and give me a happy ending, I'm like
Yes.
I'm kidding. No, like, anyone who like, I could get a back massage is, like, the only way that I could actually shut down because, like, physically, like, what we call in behavior, like, it's a DRI, meaning, like, differential reinforcement of an incompatible behavior, like, I can't be on my phone, I can't be answering people, like, every
Mhm.
part of me feels I must respond immediately, like, I don't know what it is, like, any email or text I get creates, like, my nervous system, like, must be done now.
Same.
Like,
Same, girl.
it's the only way that I could do that, and so that's, like, my one date, but, like, I was just thinking, I was like, like there are things I want to do. Like I'm dating someone and it's long distance right now, right? So like it's like, do
Mm,
I wait for them to come in and do these different dates, or like do I take myself to go like make pottery myself?
right. Huge.
Like
And that's a big one. People are afraid of those sorts of things, so I would classify that as, like, a huge date and, like, a big milestone. Mine today was, like, I'm someone that I get ready very quickly. Normally, I'm, like, in and out, but today I was like, "You know what? I wanna do the 17-step skincare."
what's your 17
And
step skincare? What's your like what do you
it's not
swear by?
no, it's just stuff that I get in PR, like La Roche-Posay and, Herborian or something. Like, people just send me things, and so today I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna, like, look through this. I'm just gonna look through this, I'm just gonna start slapping things on my face because that's what I wanna do today." And I just, like, took that extra, like, few minutes, that I don't normally do, but today I wanted to,
I
you
totally
know?
resonate with, like, slap it on your face, like, I'll, like, get migraine one day, like, literally, like, my dermatologist, I'm like, "I don't know what to do about all these, like, red scleroderma spots, like, what do I do?" She'll be like, "Okay, you should get this and this," and then it's like, I won't use any of it, and then one day, I literally am straight up, like, slapping it, and, like, not only that, my mom's like, "Why are you so, like, aggressive, like, on your face?" I'm like, "'Cause it's like, oh, like, everything I do, like, I can't, like, even, like, take a second to, like, calm down and be like, 'Let me put it on nicely.'" It's like, "We're out." Like
You're like, "I'm pushing it into my pores."
yeah, like, every part of me is, like, intense.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this book could be beneficial to so many people listening. I think a lot of our listeners, I think whether, like, female or male, I think we do have a lot of female listeners, and also, I know we have people, like, across different areas, but a lot of people are in the behavioral space, and a lot of people who come into this space to become behavior analysts are usually like, I've seen a consistent pattern of, like, they're control freaks, and that's why they got into the space of controlling behavior. So, like,
Mhm.
they love the Excel spreadsheets, they love the organization, they love the this, and I think with that could come these really high expectations of themselves. Like, I mean,
Sure.
I have mine for different reasons, not because I'm, like, a control freak, but so I really think this could be beneficial to anyone who's here listening now, and to get a copy, like, of your book in their hands, I think would be very beneficial. But I
Well,
just wanna
thank you.
know, just to end off on the podcast, what is one thing that listeners who are listening right now could do today to start being a better bestie to themselves? I know you've already given some tips, but, like, if you could give, like let me just
Yeah.
give you one little nugget.
I think for me, what's helped me the most, especially in the beginning, like you said, just starting out, I think it's a cliche saying, but the fake it till you make it, I think is can be really powerful. And rather than I don't know, the word fake a lot of times has a negative connotation. So the way that I've thought about it is kind of borrowing. And so,
I like that.
I think about places in my life where I truly am confident, right? Like I'm a very good singer. Singing in front of people, I'm so confident. Being on stage, I'm very confident. That looks different for you. Like maybe you're really good at baking. Like in the kitchen, you are a showman, right? Or just anywhere like that. And really kind of taking a moment to take inventory, like how do I feel when I'm doing that? Like how do I stand with my body? Do I project my voice more? Do I make more eye contact? I don't know, just like, yeah, taking inventory of how we're behaving and how we're feeling in those moments, and then just borrowing that feeling and bringing it over to a place where we feel a little less confident. Public speaking, talking, making small talk with a stranger, any of those sorts of things. Being on a really cool podcast with a really sexy host, and just like applying that feeling that you've learned, yeah,
That
until it
is
becomes normal.
the word borrowed is so great.
Thanks.
No, like,
You know,
it's
like
so true because like, people are like, fake it," and it is true, like, I mean, even speaking from a behavioral perspective, like, feelings follow behavior, so, like, I tell people even when they're, like a lot of people are studying for this huge exam that they study with me for, and I'm
Mhm.
like, "You better go in there, like, dressed to kill, like, take the exam, like, go in, like, you're ready to, like, do something big, like, even if it's, like, dressing the part, right? Like, don't
Mhm.
go in there, like, in your pajamas. Like, go in, like, "I'm here, like, I'm looking hot as fuck. I'm ready to slay." I like, whether I know the shit or not, like, I at least look the part, you know? But
Yeah.
it is so true, borrowing it the way you say that, like, there's certain things I'm like, what am I really confident about? I'm really confident that I am like a killer teacher. Like, give me like anyone, and I will make sure they know this shit backwards and forwards and they will like remember it. Right. But like, there's
Yeah.
other things that I'm not so confident in. I should just think what they are. But, or there's things that I shouldn't be so confident in. No, but I definitely am doing that. I take the confidence I have from other areas and be like, I could kill it. So
I can
you
do
take it
it.
somewhere else. But yeah, but like that is such a great piece of advice for anyone. And I know a lot of people, especially who are new in the field, let's say like you're a new behavior analyst. I get messages in my DMs all the time. Like I feel like an imposter, like such an imposter, whether it's in a new job or like what you're doing. And it's like, well, what are you really confident in? And
Yeah.
take it there. And by the way, you probably are overqualified for whatever it is, but you're underestimating yourself. So be your own bestie.
Be your own bestie. I think what's really fun about that, like a fun, like when you reframe the way you think about confidence, is I think a lot of people freeze, right? They freeze because they want the confidence first before going and trying things. Because I think humans are averse to awkwardness and feeling uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
But it's the other way around, right? Borrow that confidence from somewhere else, go in, make mistakes, learn. Your nervous system realizes, wait, I didn't just die because I felt a little awkward. And then that confidence builds, and all of a sudden, you're not faking it anymore. You are that bitch. Hello?
You are that bitch.
You are that bitch.
That bitch. I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Your energy is contagious and what you're doing, sharing it with the world really is like a gift. So
Thank you.
really keep doing it. And can you let everyone know where they could find you and where they can get a copy of your book?
Yes. So you can find me across social media at Your Bestie Misha. And you can get my book wherever you get books. Yeah, there's links in my bio. So hope to see you there. I hope you like the book.
Maybe we could do we're into this Behavior Bitches book club we've just started.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is a potential book that we could bring to the book club.
Oh my gosh, stop.
Yeah, that would be so fun. And then we could have you like come to like the we're only gonna have like one meeting per book. So like maybe you could come and like share some of your like sprinkle your like energy everywhere and just like slap it on, you know?
I would love that.
Okay, so we'll keep in touch. This is a great idea. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Misha. And everyone, thanks for listening. You know where you could find us. You can find us on behaviorbitches.com. If you have any topics you want us to cover, if there's anything nice you want to say to me, if you like my shirt that I got from Farm Rio on sale this weekend, please tell me. I want to know. And if you don't know if you like it or not, that means you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel. And our
Ooh.
YouTube channel really, I I feel like a prostitute how I sell myself to get people to go follow it, but it's like, let me tell you guys, making the podcast was so much easier before it was visual. When it was just audio, I could come in looking like whatever. So now that I'm putting in the effort and putting on makeup and getting ready for the podcast every day, please go reinforce that and go follow us on YouTube at Behavior Bitches Podcast, Instagram at Behavior Bitches Podcast, TikTok at Behavior Bitches Podcast. We're pretty consistent. We're Behavior Bitches across the board. So with that, that's all I have for you today. And as always, love ya, mean it.
It's Behavior Bitches.